Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of It's Me Speaking to You. I am, as always, your ever-faithful host, Mr. Jeffrey Wilson, coming to you live and direct from the gateway to the West, St. Louis, Missouri. And tonight, we are being blessed with the musical stylings of a gentleman I've known for quite some time, and quite impressed, quite frankly, because you talk about the evolution of a human being, you talk about the evolution of an artist. I really have seen it, and he's not even close to done yet, but it's just been cool, man, because this guy, his particular instrument is the piano, even though in his off time, when he's Clark Kent, he has to crunch numbers as an accountant. But Mr. Pretty Ricky, a.k.a. Rick Kilian, is joining us tonight. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I am fantastic, brother. Thank you for taking the time. And I know you are a busy man, as you've had not a newborn child, but you have a new addition to the tribe there, and you're working on a album, and you're full-time other job. What you got going on in your life, man? What are you doing to stay busy?
Yeah, man, that's it. I mean, do the 9 to 5, try to pay the bills, I think he's 16 months now. I don't know why I said I think. Yeah, he's 16 months now, so.
Supposed to know these things, Rick.
I know. He just turned 16 months. He just turned 16 months the other day. So.
You say he's a year.
Right, he's a year.
Everyone else gets into the month. He's 16 months,
right.
Weeks and hours. No.
I try to remember for the wife. The wife always gets that question right,
Well,
they always ask the woman.
I don't have a wife, but happy wife, happy life, my friend. So you do your thing. No, but like I said, man, we ran into each other many moons ago. Back, dare we say the name of an establishment that existed in the Maplewood region. And you were. I mean, believe me, I'm not even. I play a mean chopsticks, my friend. So you were always good, and so. When was the last time we saw each other after that? It was like 2009, 2010, and then we ran back into each other as you are one of the featured players for Spanky Entertainment at the live juke joint here in St. Louis. And bro, I mean, the evolution, the arc has just been insane. I mean, seriously, from literally the mechanics to the showmanship, ladies and gentlemen, practice makes improvement. Let me tell you this right now. Seriously, bro. Yeah. I mean, what's those last several years? I mean, you've obviously devoted a lot of time to your music. What's been the impetus of that? Before I guess we start with that, how do you get into music so much?
Yeah, I mean, it started. I think like most piano players, it started at an early age. I always had a piano in the house growing up, and I started taking lessons. My parents kicked me into the lessons when I was 5 or 6 years old. And I mean, I always enjoyed it. Honestly, I was probably a bad student. I didn't take a lot of time to practice. I didn't do a lot of the stuff. It's one of the things I kind of actually regret now. I feel like I could be way better if I had put in the time and effort when I was a kid, but I definitely, when I hit my teenage years, I made up for it and started really, really devoting to it. And like you said, when we first met each other, I think that was like 8 or 9 years ago now, man. It was a long time ago. Once I started doing that, started going out on stage and trying to actually like entertain people. I mean, I started really hitting it hard. So started at an early age with my parents, and my dad has always been really big into music. And so I kind of grew up in a musical household. I mean, that's really kind of the beginnings of it. And then found a friend in music. So I know we've talked about my background a little bit, but
what would you hear in the Kilian household? What will be a lot of musicians who have parents who were huge musicians who say they heard music all the time? Like what were the tracks you were getting downloaded into the old young Rick brain?
Yeah, definitely. So my dad was definitely big into the singer-songwriter kind of genre of music, I guess you will. So
some James Taylor.
Yeah, I always had James Taylor, a lot of Fleetwood Mac, a lot of Simon and Garfunkel,
Jim Croce,
John Denver, Jim Croce, all that stuff. So I had kind of all that classic singer-songwriter stuff, Elton John, all that stuff growing up. And I think that really, in a way, has really kind of just pushed where my music goes now, or kind of how I approach it to begin with. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, that's what I kind of dig about a lot of the guys you play with. I mean, you obviously know another cool cat we know as Loopy, Chris Swan. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
It's a very, you guys, excuse me, you create, it's a wide palette. You guys aren't just one particular genre. You utilize the wide palette, the wide variety, and the eclectic ear that you guys have in your shows, man, because you guys, like, literally, Rick Kilian, ladies and gentlemen, can literally play on the piano every level of Super Mario. And then, bust into a mean beatbox on some California Love. So it's just like, that is the beautiful thing about, music and musicians who have that wide palette. And that's what you've kind of been able to implement, sir.
Yeah, man, totally. I mean, that's one of the things that kind of drew me when I started playing piano bars. I didn't honestly even join like a dueling piano bar thing. That was like an accident. It was like a misunderstanding between me and Spanky. And then once I got into it and saw like the breadth and width of everything we were playing and how cool it was, and getting to be on stage every week, and like you said, getting to learn all these styles, and it challenges you as a musician to be like, okay, you're really good at, Ben Folds, or you're really good at kind of standard rock stuff, but how good are kind of your jazz chops, or how good are your country chops, or your reggae chops, or, anything like that? Like, where can you go blues wise? And so getting to experience that whole breadth, and just that night after night, week after week, of someone just throwing whatever they want at you, and you just kind of being able to have to go with it, really skyrocketed, what you could do. There's really no better teacher than someone just setting something down in front of you and going, hey, do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of gig that definitely puts you on the spot. But, yeah, that's cool, man. So you've been obviously doing pianos, as well as you're working on an album right now. What to talk to us about your album you got going?
Yeah, man, it's like I was talking about it today. I think it's like 50% done, 50% done from a writing perspective. So yeah, I'm still writing it. I've got some good guys lined up that I want to go into the studio with. It'll be my first actual like going into the studio, doing it right, getting it produced, getting it recorded, not doing it all by myself, having other guys play on the record, having other guys input. So it'll be the first time I do that. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I got a little more time to do, or a little more time that I need to spend writing on it. Obviously, like you said, with a busy schedule, it's hard to pick times to write. And obviously writing's not something that you just like sit down and go, I'm going to create a great song tonight. It's kind of, you got to be ready for it when it comes. And so just trying to make the time, get it written, get with the guys, get it all practiced up, and then we'll get it out. I'm hoping for late this year. My goal is to have it out by like November of this year, but I'm not super ready to put a hard date on it, but that's the plan.
Well, that's cool. I mean, at least you have the patience to take the time, because this, I mean, that's such an artist kind of thing. I mean, it's a very meticulous process, especially when it is your baby. You definitely want to make sure, you're taking the time. What were your influences? I mean, like I said, I know you're the Jim Croce. You personally, what you're putting on the album, what can we expect sound wise on this particular album from Mr. Pretty Rick Kilian?
Yeah, with this album, so this will be kind of my fourth album, I guess, if you will. It'll be my first really, I think, real good official album that I'm going to put out to everybody. I put out a 6-track EP a few years ago, and I put out an album when I was just in college, right before we met, and I put out an album when I was in high school. And honestly, with this album, yeah, so with this album, I'm kind of trying to go back to something that's really authentic, and that's really what I wanted to do, was something that was just truly authentic to my sound, or where I'm kind of at this point in my life. But like you said, musical stylings, or what kind of stuff do you pull on there? So for me, it kind of all started with Ben Folds. So there's definitely some Ben Folds in there, but obviously through doing the piano bar, I pull from a lot of places, and that's one of the things I've liked about it, is I've played so many styles, and I've played so many things. I'm so comfortable that I can start picking those things that I like. So there's going to be some Ben Folds on there for people that like, kind of the classic or kind of harder, more edgier piano pop, which is kind of where I kind of fall towards, is that edgier piano pop rock sound. But there's going to be also some classic like Elton John stuff. There's going to be some more R&B-ish feels. There's going to be some funk and some soul kind of stuff. I mean, one of the things that I've kind of realized is I can't play anything too straight. I kind of always fall into that playing a little funkier. So
yeah.
Kind of a funky Ben Folds, Elton John kind of thing going on.
So from your R&B funk standpoint, where are you pulling from there?
Man, dude, So with funk R&B, I'm not I'm not as versed as some people. I really honestly pull. I was a big jazz guy, right? So I pull from almost more kind of a blues standpoint and some of the
Mm-hmm.
classic like soul guys. So when I was a kid in high school, I mean Ray Charles was the thing, man. I mean I was into Ray Charles like crazy. So I pull from a lot of those classic R&B guys or all classic soul guys. So James Brown,
Sure.
even Little, going back to like Little Richard and stuff like that. So Little Richard, James Brown, Ray Charles, all those guys, Bill Withers, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
all that stuff kind of plays in there. And that, I'm really trying, like I said, I really want this album to be something that's just really authentic. So I'm trying not to steer it too far. I feel like with my last album, I tried to steer it kind of into what I feel like I thought I should sound like and not necessarily just what I naturally sounded like. So this one was really I just want to step back and kind of let the music guide where it goes. And if something sounds completely different than something else, then I'm cool with that because it's authentic. And that's where I'm really going. I want it to be a representation of truly who I am and be open with whoever wants to listen to it and what it sounds like.
And that's cool, man. And you honestly, I mean, I didn't know you had those other albums. So, I mean, as you progress, you will have those different bodies of work to see how you've progressed. Because, I mean, what you just said, that's really kind of a, and not to sound like a father knows best. That's a very mature statement to be like, I'm not trying to like be like anybody else. To really find your own lane as an artist really is what it's all about, because everyone can replicate all of those people that you kind of mentioned, if you will, and then obviously fall short because, those guys, the greats, not that you're not freaking, really good,
right.
But you know what I mean? To find your own lane. I always say that to different artists or, people I talk to, find your own lane in life. And that's really what you've done. So cool, man. I'm quite looking forward to it, man. If social media wise, where could we find, any of those old albums, keep up with what you got going on? Cause I mean, your schedule's crazy, dude. Like I said, between your 9 to 5, being a parent, and your traveling schedule, being a dueling piano guy and your album, kudos to you, my friend. Where can we find Mr. Rick Kilian?
Yeah, I mean, the best, Facebook, obviously. Facebook, I have the Rick Kilian page. You can go on there and follow me. You can also find my personal page. I probably wouldn't say no to friending you. So you can go there. Instagram, I'm RC Kilian. So that's RCKILIAN. Always have to tell people that because I try to do 2 L's in the Kilian. And then I'm on Twitter at Rick Kilian. So KILIAN again. But Instagram's kind of becoming my jam right now as far as the social media. I like posting pictures. I like doing that. I like the idea of like short little video snippets. I like the idea of going like they have the live function now. So Instagram's kind of where I'm at now. But anything I post to Instagram, I also send out to the Twitterverse and the Facebook world. So if you go to either of those, you can find me. Try to stay on top of everything.
Well, you have to, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, especially, I mean, and that's kind of the cool thing. I mean, I guess it's kind of the nature of artists, whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're a musician anymore. It's like, it's not absolutely necessary to be signed to a deal or signed to a label anymore. For lack of a better term, the playing field is level as far as the internet. And you just gotta really have to plug away. It's really about marketing, and really getting your word out there. So 2017, brother, Happy New Year. What do we have in store? What's 2017 gonna fucking look like for Mr. Pretty Ricky?
2017, man, I'm trying to hit the ground hard with the music. So trying to do some more, get some more my gigs out there so that people can get out and listen to some of these songs before the album's out, obviously. And I want to try to get out there and obviously promote the album before it comes out. So trying to build up my personal calendar, and obviously if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram stuff, I'll post when all those happen. And then 2017 is really about getting the album done. So finish writing the album, get with the guys, get it worked up, get in the studio, probably be a couple dates in the studio to get all that recorded. And then try to get something going for kind of an album release, obviously later in the year. So 2017, just building up the calendar, man, trying to get some shows out there, trying to get some hype up around the album, trying to build the fan base and get that going. That's really my goal. I feel like the last few years I've had a lot of irons in the fire. Is that the right
Absolutely,
phrase?
absolutely. That's how you got to be, man.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of irons in the fire. So 2017, trying to kind of pick and choose the ones that are most important. Obviously, family comes first. So family and stuff like that. But obviously, yeah, trying to pick the ones that are important. And music to me is is obviously a huge part of my life, and it's something that I take very seriously. And it was my childhood dream. You know, I'm lucky that I get to live my childhood dream, and I want to carry that further. So devoting 2017 hard to the music is going to be a big thing.
And honestly, bro, and that is what's up, man. It's always about, for me, working smarter, not harder, and finding your passion in life that you can, you know, be able to make money on. And, you know, bro, anytime, obviously you are welcome back here as you know, progress with the album. When you get ready to drop that bad boy, come through, you know, maybe you could play a jam, or, you know, we could do whatever we can to plug it, man. So thank you. I'm obviously so very much for taking the time, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I love talking to you. I love our conversations. It's been awesome. I love watching, you know, like you said, we've known each other for a long time. So I love watching how you've grown and developed through all this stuff, man. It's cool that everyone's going off and doing things and taking the internet world by storm, man.
Well, work in progress, man. That's what we kind of all are. You know, that's why it's beautiful to have people on. I wouldn't have had you on if you were just like doing the exact same shit as whatever year ago. It's cool to see people creating, developing, like I said, creating their own lane, man. And that's just a cool thing to see. So anything I can do to help, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, dude. It's awesome.
Uh-oh, the puppy dog agrees. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mr. Rick Kilian. The album will be dropping soon. We will keep you updated on all of that and all of his information, so you can stay abreast of all of his doings will be at the bottom of this video. Thank you once again, my friend, Mr. Richard Kilian.
Thanks, man.
All right, peace and all that love, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. There will be more.